I've been injured so badly that I'm trying to get into a nursing home. I had a very sudden, severe fall. Parkinson's is getting to be a lot of work. This didn't have to happen. I'd like to discuss the situation with you a little bit more. See, when I talked to Martha Gellhorn, my peers and administrators at the universities, about Mount Desert Island, Botstein Island, I was told that they were drawing a line in defense of the perpetrators. I couldn't understand their reasoning. They said to do otherwise would be anti Semitic. I said, don't you understand that by letting these people get away with what they did, you're only going to make it worse? I was informed by the idea that they had established an intercept, meaning we're going to take care of it. We understand what they did. It was coming between me and my brother, who is Jewish. I said, this is only going to make it worse when people find out how unpardonable this is. What I didn't understand was that the people listening to Seattle Queers knew that it was going to make it worse for other victims of Israel. That's what I didn't understand. I thought it will only make the anti Semitism worse if you grant them this license to commit a genocide. Instead, it made it worse for other victims of Israeli genocidal practices. And one of the defenders of the so called intercept claim is an Armenian professor who bangs on about the Armenian genocide. We're supposed to pick and choose between the bona fides of genocide instead of coming up with plans for infrastructure that will allow sustainable water and food supply for local development of sustainable ecology and abundance. Of course, that's why I was targeted. Make no mistake, even though they claimed they were proving something about me. Now, I've been told that they're going to make the injuries even more severe. In fact, the fall was choreographed. Clint Eastwood has been sending me smoking gun autographs and so on. So you think, well, he's in charge of the intercept who levels the accusation, the counter accusation, that Lenin and Reagan were framed. Well, actually, this evidence that Eastwood targeted my father goes way back to my father's times. It was my father who took me as a child to see him. I certainly never had anything against him. So I found out what a weird, cruel fascist he is. I had nothing against him. The weird machos of Hollywood have quite an act. And there was a man on Marlboro, a mysterious man on Marlboro, who let word get back to me that he didn't like the way I hunched my shoulders when I walked, and he said that I was scrawny. And we know that the lesbian who poisoned my father's name at Pitt, Jewish lesbian who divorced him, stole his Grand Torino. Stealing cars was a major syndicate in the way that I was tortured and kidnapped and oppressed as a child by the winemaker Attic Estate chain gang. And Eastwood, this was right around the corner from Sir Wecht, who was involved with Oliver Stone's films, had a film called Gran Torino. That's what she stole the check that the court ordered him to pay and tore it up. Court ordered her to pay and snatched it back and tore it up. Grabbed it back and poured it on you steaming, Penis Gabriel said to me. Now, what they said about me was Steve Langer said there's no such thing. Said that it's not my fault. I'm not sorry for anything I did, only that it had to be you. And that's what the NAACP co-opted. They're not sorry for anything they did, only it had to be Jimmy the Deaf White Sock. It had to be Jimmy the Deaf White Sock.